Hi, welcome back to my channel. This is a short video with some aerial shots describing what is happening regarding the development west of Number 2 Road and south of Route 48, the intersection shown by the yellow arrow. Stay tuned. Okay, the graph on the left shows the plot plan from Hanover Family Builders for the new development, and the graph on the right, or the map on the right, is from the GIS county map and shows the outline in orange of the land that's used for the plot plan that's shown on the left. As you can see, it's just east of Highland Lakes, and then there's a section of land between the land that's being developed and Legacy. You can see Briar Patch Place shown there on the map. The land west of the Hanover development and east of Legacy and north of Legacy up to 48 belongs to the G. Gilbert Family Trust. And this section of land, which I'll show you on the next graph, was actually purchased last year, September 30th of 2019, for $1.45 million. And this is shown here in red. Now, there's a section of land between Highland Lakes, Legacy, and this parcel here shown in red. That's cut up into a number of little smaller parcels, and different owners own it. And the land across from Route 48 from the G. Gilbert parcel is also owned by the G. Gilbert Foundation. And I'll talk a little bit more about that later. Okay, so this is heading towards the parcel of land just north of Legacy. Okay, what's coming into view here is Blue Diamond Sink, now called Blue Diamond Pond. And when I first moved in 12 years ago, they had a sign up, and there were actually homes on this property. And now the homes have been torn down. I think they were being vacated or occupied by some squatters, and I guess the owners felt it was a hazard. I'll show you in a moment. There's something, a very unusual feature in this pond, and if anybody has any ideas what it is, you can leave some comments below. There it is. It's a light colored on the right, bottom right of the screen. I'll get a closer look later on. I don't know what it is. Might be a submerged UFO. I'm not sure. So we're heading out toward Route 48. Again, this is part of the G. Gilbert parcel, the Family Trust. And as I mentioned, they own land across from Route 48 as well. Okay, we're spinning towards the east, and we're going to head toward the Hanover property. And this is Blue Diamond Pond. There's that feature just showing up in the bottom right-hand part of the screen. Again, I'll even get better looks at it later. I have no idea what that is. It could be a high spot in the floor of the sink or the sinkhole. I'm not sure. There's an issue with some of the residents are having because young kids are coming into the pond and swimming, and I got photos of them later. There it is. There's that feature I was talking about. Almost looks like a bass bed, but it's probably around 10 or 12 feet wide, so I don't think that's what it is. It's very unusual. I'd like to get a sonar shot and see what that is, but so now I think we're going to be heading south. Yeah, that's Legacy right there. So you can see this is the pond that's just north of Legacy off Route 48. Okay, so now we're going to start heading west. I think I had to end this video right here and then start over because it was a little too windy for the drone, and it was telling me that if I don't take it back soon, it's going to be swept away by the wind. And so this was filmed the next day, and it's a much calmer day. That's what's nice about these smart drones. It tells you when it's time to bring it back. Now, if you look at the bottom right-hand part of the screen there, you can see a red car. And I did not see this when I was filming. I saw this once I got back and was doing some post-treatment of the information. There's that feature again. So here's an interesting story I heard. I was walking back here, and there was a guy fishing, and he said he lives off of Route 48. It's about 4 or 5 years ago. And he said that this used to be a sinkhole, and there was a bulldozer in the pond, and it broke through to an underwater cavernous area that's filled with water, and they jumped out of the bulldozer, and the bulldozer sank into the cavern. I don't have no idea if that's true or not. Maybe this is an opening that was at the bottom of the sinkhole. It could be. That's what it is. I'm not sure. I'm really not making that up. I heard this about 4 or 5 years ago. It's Lake Harris. So in the distance on the right-hand side, you see like a pasture area. That's where the new development's going to go. We're going to fly right up to it. The entrance off of Route 48 is Rumford Road. So when you ride down Route 48, you see the street sign for Rumford Road. That's going to be the entrance to this new development. There's the cell tower right there. And I'm flying probably about 150, 200 feet up, so there's no chance of hitting it, or any trees for that matter. For those of you who might be interested, it's legal to fly over neighborhoods as long as you're high up and you're not invading someone's privacy. FAA owns the airspace. Individuals do not own the airspace. I mean, you can't fly a drone outside of somebody's windows or anything like that, because that would get you in trouble. But this high up, it's like almost a satellite imagery. Not much you're seeing. So the line of trees right there, the dotted line of trees that go from left to right, I think I pause it and I'll show you. That's Rumford Road right there. And that's where so east of Route 48 runs east-west. So east of Rumford Road is where the development's going to be. All this land that I've been flying, there's Rumford Road. So all this land I've been flying over, and this is what it's referring to on the plot plan, right there. That area that I just went over and with the arrow on the map, satellite map, or the drone photo. I think this is probably about 3,000 feet from. It's not even 3,000 feet. It was 3,000 feet from where I was flying from. I did not fly from the edge of Legacy. I was at the on Stony Brook Drive. This is all pasture here, so you're not going to see a lot of land clearing for this development. It's pretty much all pasture. So now I'm flying right down the edge of the property line. I have to turn right pretty soon, because I lost signal with the drone, and that's because I'm behind the trees. I lost visual sight. And technically, when you fly, you have to have visual contact with the drone, and I kind of positioned myself in the street so trees would not block my view, but these are the trees that were blocking my view were at the edge of the property at the easternmost part of Legacy. So there's Legacy now in the distance. Again, this land is owned by the Gilbert Family Trust. And I will fly over on the northern side of 48. You can see what that area looks like as well, because that's the land does not really make a lot of money unless you sell it. So it's only a good investment if you buy it and sell it. So most likely the G. Gilbert Family Trust is going to either sell the land or develop it. And you can see when you ride down 48 right now, you'll see a sign out there that this land is for sale. It may be because they couldn't sell it to the Hanover Family Builders, because apparently there was as I mentioned before, there was an issue with some easements that would have limited what they could develop. Okay, this is Briar Patch Place, and which connects to Stony Brook Drive right there. And we're going to turn right and head across the Route 48. Again, it's Blue Diamond Pond. So you see those lots there on the left-hand side on Stony Brook Drive? One of them is owned by Clyde Mason. For those residents who had him as a sales rep when we bought in Legacy, he filed a lawsuit against Pringle, and they gave him a lot as, I guess, compensation. And it's one of those lots. I think it's the one on the right-hand side. So now we're going back over Blue Diamond Pond, and I'm infatuated with this feature in the water. I think I stop and take another look at it. Maybe not. Probably look at it on the way back. So this is heavily wooded, this area here. This is all owned by the G. Gilbert Family Trust. They started buying land here in 2010. And I think as recently as last year, they paid as much as $480,000, I think, for one of the parcels. If you want to, just go into Zillow, and you'll see a lot of numbers on the screen in this area. No houses, of course. You click on them, and you can search for tax and price history, and you'll see what they paid for all these lots. So the Gilbert Family Trust or they're up to something. This is either going to be developed or they're going to sell it to somebody else who wants to develop it. I'm not sure I mentioned this, but they tried to buy the Sanders at Cottage Grove, and the price was too high. So they're clearly accumulating land right now. So the arrow is pointing to where I see some swimmers. If you look closely, you see two people in the water, and you can see the red car there. You see the swimmers in the water. I didn't see them until I got back home and put this on a bigger screen. So I went back later with the drone, and I actually flew very close to them to try to intimidate them, hoping that they would leave, but they didn't even know I was there. At least they didn't acknowledge me. Maybe they didn't want to look up to be photographed. So there's a meeting on July 27th at the Legacy new center, town center, whatever it's called. I have information at the end of this video. There's going to be the second reading for this development. There's not going to be any other postings for it. I kind of found out by accident. So if you're interested, you can come and say something. If you want to voice your opinion about all the congestion that there is going to dump onto Number 2 Road and Route 48. Number 2 Road is really not designed for that type of traffic. If you look at that plot plan, they're packed in like sardines. It's higher density than Highland Lakes, which they back up to, about 20% higher density. So it's really out of character for this area, and I hope it doesn't get approved in its current form. Okay, it's at the City Commission meeting, Venetian Center, 1 Dozier Court, July 27th.